High altitude ballooning has given Zack Clobes' group the opportunity to explore a science of space at a price that almost anyone can afford. Through science, electronics, computers, and a little adventure, they learn about the world from above us.
This is what I do for fun. I design, I build, I program, and I fly miniature spacecraft to the edge of space. This is a typical photo of one of my adventures. Black skies, curved horizons, and this is one of my favorites as it has a picture of the moon in the right side. For me, it all started back in 1999 when a fellow balloonist, Paul Verhaeg, brought some of this equipment down to the Cosmosphere and did a balloon launch for them. The local ham radio club was invited to help Paul track and recover the payload. I helped out, and that's where I caught the bug. He taught me how to take a large bottle of helium, fill it into a large latex balloon, add a parachute and some payloads. The payloads vary, but they include GPS trackers, radio transmitters, cameras, and other experiments. The balloon starts out about 6 feet in diameter. Below that hangs a parachute and then 2 payloads, which have tracking systems and cameras. As the balloon rises, the atmospheric pressure decreases, which causes the gas inside the balloon to expand. By 100,000 feet, the balloon is about 30 feet in diameter, and it eventually ruptures, causing everything to fall back to Earth. And that's where the fun begins. We drive off and chase this thing across the state using radios and laptops to track the position and gather sensor data. In Kansas, it usually just falls in the middle of a farmer's field, and we get lucky enough to drive up to sometimes. Other times, we have to hike across a field, cross streams, and climb trees. After catching the bug, I set out to build a tracking system from scratch to save money and weight. This was the tracker that I used on my first flight. The black thing on the right is a GPS, and to the left of that is a transmitter that sends the position back to the ground. Behind those 2 devices is a handmade circuit board that controls everything. I managed to get the whole family involved. Here my oldest daughter is helping me construct a new payload by cutting a hole in the bottom to mount a camera. She's helped me update the website to post information, and she often goes on the chases with me. After 2 years of planning, on April 22nd, 2001, I had enough equipment cobbled together that we launched our very first high-altitude balloon. Here, my uncle and myself were getting ready to fill the balloon with helium gas. We recovered the payload after it hit to 90,264 feet. But we had misjudged how much helium to put in it, and so the balloon rose much slower than expected, and the winds carried us north to Beatrice, Nebraska. Let's just say that it's hard to keep up with a balloon that's floating through a 100-mile-an-hour jet stream. We made it, and this was our first recovery. This is also how the group got the name Project Traveler. With a whopping 4 flights under our belt, we were pretty sure that we knew everything there was about near-space travel, so we signed up for a demonstration on in front of a couple hundred excited kids at Wiley School. Despite our limited experience, the flight was wildly successful. The kids loved it. We got a nice write-up in the Hutch News for this. Flying balloons is a very rewarding hobby from a lot of different aspects. The science and the logistical challenges are a thrill, but the photos that we bring back are incredible. Here's a recent flight we did, and this was just a couple minutes after launch, floating above Hutchinson, looking east towards the airport. A few thousand feet higher, and the balloon broke through the thin layer of clouds and enjoyed a spectacular view of the cloud layer below. No matter what the weather's like down here, it's always sunny on top. By the time it bursts, the clouds turn into just a horizon, and you see the curvature of the Earth come out. This photo was taken a couple seconds after the balloon popped, and you can see bits of latex falling away. As you can probably imagine, the ride turns from very peaceful to very violent as the whole thing plummets to Earth, as there's not much air to slow the parachute down. This has turned out to be a great hobby for me. I've gotten to know a great group of people from all over the country. Every summer, we get together and do a mass launch. This past year was down in Texas, and we had about 10 balloons in the air all at the same time. These people are like family to me, and I look forward to seeing them every year. The recovery of the balloon is usually the most interesting part. We have predictions of where it's going to go, but exactly where it's going to touch down and what will be there is anyone's guess. One time out in Colorado, we were met by a pair of curious horses. This was not mine, but another time I was chasing a balloon, and the packages broke away from the parachute at about 80,000 feet and free fell back to Earth. Fortunately, some power lines broke the fall as the cord between the payloads wrapped itself around one of the lines. The local power company was nice enough to come out and assist with recovery. And again, this was not mine, but I was chasing it. One time we were out chasing a balloon from Salina that flew all the way into Missouri and landed on the top of a tree in a military live firing range. The photo that we took after the recovery says, "Warning, demolition range, do not enter during live firing." We've done 32 flights since 2001, and eventually I wanted to get back to our educational roots. In 2015, I found myself back in the classroom teaching elementary kids about science. Here I was getting ready to demonstrate the effects of space in a vacuum chamber for a class at Morgan School. Their favorite experiment was sending a marshmallow peep up in the chamber, which causes the pockets of air inside the marshmallow to expand and rupture. The peep collapses as the pressure is reapplied to it. Incidentally, the human tissue cells would also respond similarly, which is why astronauts have to wear protective spacesuits. And of course, no demonstration like that is complete without a balloon launch. Our 27th balloon launch was in front of the entire Morgan School. The flight went perfectly, and I got to provide the kids with a video of the launch, the flight, the recovery, as well as lots of aerial photography. Thanks for listening to me talk about my hobby.